Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to the Mountbatten Centre today for my show Pumpy Punch Up. It takes place here on the 28th of March. I'd like to say a big thank you to Sue Page at the Mountbatten Centre to help make this all happen. I'm going to start off introducing each boxer, then I'm going to let Michael Balango have a word, and then we're going to pass the mic to Kevin. He's going to ask 2 questions to each boxer that have been sent in. Starting off to my far right of Jimmy Cooper. He'll be having his second fight now on the show. He fought last night to a draw, but by all reports he deserved the win, so full respect for him to coming down today. Next to him, Ben Neller. He last fought on my dad's show in December against Ben Day in a tough fight. That was one of the best fights I saw last year. Next to Ben, we have Michael McKinson. He's 4-0, he's having his first fight in England, and he's an exciting prospect. After that we have Kelvin Young. He's a former Southern Area champion and he's taken on Chris Hobbs for the British Masters title. Full respect to both of these boys taking this fight, it's a great 50-50. Next up we have Floyd. He's got one of the best supports I've ever seen in a British ring, and he's looking to get back to winning ways and fight for a title this year. On my left I have the man that's helping make this all happen, Michael Balango. He's been a great help and he's one of the best men in the boxing to deal with. Next to Michael we have Chris Hobbs. He's fighting Kelvin Young for the British Masters title, and taking Kelvin on already in his career, got to give him full respect. Next to Chris we have Danny Cousins. This is his second fight under us and carrying on winning ways. Next to Danny we have Lucas Bannigal, Michael's son. He's making his debut. I think you call him the babyface because he's only 18 years old. Next to him we have Miley, a decorated amateur, and by the sounds of it, a massive ticket seller, so big support is expected from him. Next to Miley we have Thomas Kindon. He had his best performance last time out in Portsmouth, and he's looking to carry that on in his next fight. We're going to hand it, and he's an amateur. I'm going to pass the mic over to Michael, let him have a few words.
Thank you very much. I'm not used to this talking on the microphone, that, but I had a bit of a bad one last time, so I'm going to make up for it today. I'm looking forward to this. It's all about some of the old and some of the new, not just in Portsmouth, but like on the south coast. And you know, like Josh just said, a lot of the lads, there's a few lads that's on here that have won national titles and hopefully going to do big things in the future. And I'm very privileged to have these lads fighting on a Portsmouth show. I don't know if there's anything else for me to talk about really, apart from I'm just so excited for this. It's come around so quick. It seemed like a long time, like well away, and all of a sudden it's getting very close. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Chris Hobbs and Kelvin Young, and it's first big step up for Chris. And you know, it's not one of those shows that we've just got to make a big story up and try and button the show up. Most of the fights, and well, all the fights and all the names speak for themselves. If you type in on Google and have a little look, you can see that we've got some good names on here, and looking forward to the future working with the Goodwins and all the rest of the lads.
You start with to Jimmy Cooper and we'll work down.
So just going to ask some questions now. Have been sent in via Facebook, Twitter and email. As we always say, gentlemen, these aren't written by us, especially not me, so there's a couple of spicy ones. It's nothing personal, nothing that I've said. Right, Jimmy Cooper, we'll start with you first of all. 2 questions coming from you. The first one's from Dion. It says, can you tell us a little bit about your fighting style?
I'm a bit mixed. I can box, I can fight. Like if someone brings something to the table that made trouble once, so I can change and I can adapt.
Okay, excellent. The next one's from Charlie from Pete's Pottage. Some boxers like to be called a boxer just before women. Some boxers actually want to fight. Which one are you?
I'll go with the first one.
All right, Jimmy, that's fantastic. Thanks, Dad. Can you just pass the mic across to Ben? That'd be appreciated. Okay, Ben, so this is from Tony from London. I saw your war against Ben Day at York Hall. I had you winning that fight. Do you feel you should have won that fight?
It was a very close fight. I thought it could have gone either way. Could have argued with a draw, but no, it was alright. It was a good fight. Very close.
So in your opinion, do you think it would have been a draw, or did you nick in it, or did you have Ben winning it?
Personally, I thought it was a draw, but being the away fighter, you've got to take it.
Okay, and this is from Peter Mitchell from Twitter. It says you're 0-2, when are you going to win one? It's a bit spicy, sorry.
The next one will be a win.
So the 28th of March then?
Yeah, definitely.
Alright Ben, thanks for that. We pass the mic off to Michael. Okay Michael, from Ian Legg from Twitter again. It says, I don't know anything about you, what have you done, and are you any good?
Yeah, I'm alright. 40 odd amateurs, national final, most of them wins.
So are you any good?
Well, I'll show you on 28th of March.
Good answer Michael, we like that. Okay, this one's from Paul Tooley in Kent. It says you're fighting Dwayne Grimes, who looked out Floyd more. Are you worried about facing a banger like Grimes?
He's came down here before and spoiled the script and that, but I think I'll be too smart for him, to be honest. Definitely win.
Alright Michael, that's great, thank you. We pass on to Kelvin. Kelvin, thanks for coming down today. The first one's from Aaron Bourne. It says your last 2 fights you've drawn and got knocked out by a journeyman. Why would you take a fight against the tough ex-squaddy in Hobbs?
I believe the title fights bring the best out of me, and you know, I see that Hobbs had a massive title fight lined up. I sort of messaged him, said, "Are you boxing?" You know, I wouldn't call him out or anything like that. I respect anybody who gets in the ring. He said he didn't have an opponent, so I said, you know, I'll move up to light heavyweight to box you if you want to get in the ring with me. You know, the next day, I think his manager got in touch with my manager, and you know, the fight was on, so everything's history. So, yeah, answering your question, I think I'm a better fighter when it comes to titles. I haven't lost a title fight yet. I think this will bring the best out of me, and Hobbs is going to see the real me back. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Even though I'm a natural super middle, but you know, I'm looking forward to stepping up and getting in there and getting another title to my belt.
All right, so are you going to be a strong as you stepped up, or are you just going to be a little bit overweight for it, or have you grown into the weight?
I'm on the weight now. I do believe that, you know, my speed would carry me through in the fight, be a big factor. But listen, Hobbs is going to be strong. He's going to be a natural light heavy. I'm not a natural light heavy, but it's a fight that I believe I can win, and that's why I contacted him about the fight really. But I think my experience at title level will show on the night, and I'm hoping that you know, hopefully that I'll get back and I'll add another title to my collection. But I'm really looking forward to getting out on the road a little bit as well. All my fights I've done mainly in Swindon, but I've boxed at a couple of other places as well. But I'm looking forward to coming down to a hostile crowd, you know, and really putting on a show for Portsmouth. So looking forward to it, man.
So I'll go back to Kelvin. I'll go back to Kelvin, just got one more. This is from Chris Harris from Loughborough. Says 6 months ago, you looked like a top prospect going for titles. Now you seem to be the role of a journeyman. I don't know if there's a question in that, but I think it's more of a statement. What's your answer to that?
Like I say, yeah, I can sell tickets. I'm a good ticket seller in my hometown. I don't think I'm a journeyman, but I see the fight with Hobbs that was available, and I want to test myself on the road a little bit. I want to put myself in their backyard. It's just a way of learning, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward for another title fight. I've been there so many times. I'm really looking forward to coming down and seeing what Hobbs has got, and you know, we'll see what I'm like everywhere. Look forward to it.
All right, Kelvin, thanks. But from a fan's point of view, it's a great fight. It's a real 50-50, and it's good to see two young guys that want to test about. Okay, next one's for Floyd Moore. Okay, this is from Mike Guest. It's from Southampton. It says, I see you on Sky in prize fighter and you looked a completely different fighter to the one that faced Dean Mills. What was the difference?
A lot of people know maybe in my training previously I've took shortcuts, I haven't trained properly. But the Gary Buckland prize fight, I put everything into training, and it showed on the night. Unfortunately, I drew him first, but you know, tried my best.
I'm working now. We're an answer again.
That's okay. So yeah, so basically just in preparation, just Floyd, as we change the mic.
So you're saying you prepared differently? You prepared differently for the prize fight as what you did for the Dean Mills fight, is that right?
Totally differently, yeah. Like I say, I knew it was going to be hard, the prize fighter. I knew taking any shortcuts, it would, you know, I'd pay for it on the night, so I'll give it everything in training. And it did show, I showed a lot of heart, but unfortunately it was a bit a couple of levels above me, that's all.
Alright, next one is from a Sharps Power, at Sharps Power from Twitter. It says, who would you like to fight in the next 12 months?
Cool. Basically, well, I want to hopefully get a win on the 28th. And then there's a few names, obviously. I'd love to get a Southern Area total shot again. Like Adam Dingsdale, Michael Devine. And there's a few names, obviously, ahead of that, like Kurt Goodins, people like that. I believe I can get in there and mix it with them. And, you know, who knows?
Alright, Floyd, thank you. If you can pass it across to Michael, that'd be great.
Hello. Hello.
You get that on now, Mike, we'll just use the one thing. Okay, this is from a David Gray. It says, Portsmouth boxing seems to be getting more publicity than ever before. What would you put this down to? And by the way, I think you're doing a great job.
I'll put it down to just the other fighters watching and just wanted to turn pro from the amateur game and that. And obviously, a long time ago, it was a sort of thing where people used to say you had to win the ABAs a couple of times to at least think about turning pro. But, you know, we've sort of proved that you don't have to do that, you know. Just because you're a good amateur doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good pro. And I've seen it in many other towns when I was on the roads taking fighters to box and everything. And I just brought that down to here, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you see Portsmouth boxing growing over the next sort of 12 to 18 months?
Well, like I say, rather than talking about it, have a look. Look back at the last 3 years, and look what's going on now. It's just getting bigger and bigger. And you know, we're actually having press conferences and stuff like that. We never used to do things like that. Now we've got enough people to sit in the room to have a press conference. So yeah, it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Okay, the next one is from Kate. It says, I met you before at a boxing show. You seem very enthusiastic about boxing as well as other things. Apart from boxing and women, what are your main interests?
Well, really, that's about it. No, on a serious note, boxing is just like, it's taken over like everything really. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why I'm a single person, because you know, nearly every weekend I'm doing something. If I'm not taking lads to fight, then I'm taking lads to go sparring somewhere, or you know, so you don't really get much time. So it's sort of like I always say this, it's sort of like a single man sport, unless you've got like the backup from your other half and that. And yeah, so that's about it really.
Right, Mike,
Kate.
That's great. Okay, Chris, this comes from Kurt Jebbett by email. It says, Kelvin Young has a much better record than anyone you've faced so far. Is this fight not just a bit soon?
I don't think it's too soon, no. I believe I'm going to be too strong for him on the night, so I had a choice. I could have took an easier route, but I'd rather fight someone decent and move up the rankings quicker. I mean, fight is fight. I feel myself a bit more like the old school where you just fight decent people all the time instead of just going through dirty journeymen and then getting pushed up a step too quickly and then getting yourself hurt. I'd rather face people at a different level each time and then keep heading on towards the titles.
Okay, and this is from Gary Walker from Newcastle, right? It says, tell us something that no one really knows about you. It's a good question.
That is a hard question. No one knows about me.
Must have a few skeletons, Chris. Come on, there must be.
Yeah, well, you don't want these skeletons coming out. Most people know I've been in the army. I've been in Afghanistan. Once in Afghanistan, I dressed up as a woman. What else can I say? We squaddies do some crazy shit sometimes. You know what I mean?
All right, Chris, that's fantastic. You want to finish the question? We're going to open up to the floor as well. So if anyone's in the audience wants to ask some questions, you come to the end. This is a question from Danny Tudhouse from Southampton. It says your career seems to be going nowhere and you've just been used as a journeyman. This appears to have changed. What's happened?
Basically, I've got the backing of obviously a Goodwin team, and basically I'm not taking fights at short notice, so hopefully I can get like Goodwin team can build me up, get me a few fights and then get me back in for a southern area.
Okay, that's great. And from an Angelo Tahibi, I would pronounce that right, Angelo. It says, what are your ambitions in boxing now and how far do you think you can go?
Well, obviously take one step at a time, but my ambitions at the minute is to get the southern area title and hopefully move on from that.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Lucas, please. Okay, this is from Twitter, 19D96. It says, out of the 100 debutants in the profession, only 5 make it. What makes you think you have what it takes?
Well, I think I'm gifted. In simple as that, I think I'm gifted, and I believe I will go far from the pro ranks.
Okay, and this is from Dennis Collins in London. Is it hard being trained by your dad?
As it's good things and bad things, I suppose, but
Bad things being you get to take the looks a little bit.
well, yeah, I prefer it because he makes sure I'm doing everything properly, so no shortcuts that I can take, so it's good, yeah.
All right, Lucas, that's great. Thank you. Pass across the line for us.
Oh, lads.
Okay, Miley, this is from Dean Edwards in Surrey. It says, I understand you're from a travelling family. With Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders doing really well as this inspiration. I guess it's true, I'm not sure how sisters coming.
Yeah, very good. Good inspiration, obviously, for the gypsy community. It's nice to see some of the amateurs to come into the pros and do well.
All right, excellent. And another one from Twitter from Andy Barker. Really short question. Who trains you?
A trainer from Guildford, and also Thomas's dad and brother.
All right, so I've got for you two or anything. And last but not least, from Skindon, from an Alan Blount in Thirst. It says, bearing in mind there are so few fighters in your weight division, do you feel you can be pushed into start fights too early and before you're really ready for them?
No, not really, because I've got a good manager who looks after me. He won't push me into much just yet, and I've got good trainers to look after me, so no.
Alright, and from a Robbie Mack from Portsmouth. Sorry, Thomas. It says, is it possible I can see your birth certificate as you don't look old enough to box?
I always get that. I do get called a bit young, but oh well, what can you do?
How old are you?
20.
20, okay, sorry. Right, that's all the questions we've got that's come in via... Just open up to the floor. Has anyone like to ask any questions? Just raise your hands. Then look back in.
Well, 2 questions here. One's to Mikey. So is everyone in the room, who's one of your main sponsors?
Yourself, North End Motors.
Right, lovely. And the second one, in the gym, obviously, I do train a lot with the gym. And Floyd Moore's been said, if he does win the title, which I'm sure he will do, he's going to give us a song afterwards in Tyson Fury style. Is it true, Floyd? He went all on Facebook.
That's like bullshit, mate.
Okay, mate.
Load of rubbish.
Yeah, so... It's all lies then, Floyd, yeah?
It is lies, mate, yeah.
Alright, anyone else any questions? Yeah, Luke?